This is from the totally not surprising but very disturbing segment of the show. Times Person of the Year has been announced. And even my wife wrote me, she was very upset. Times Person of the Year has been announced. Now, they had some qualifiers, or they had some, I guess you would say, what do you call it, like nominees. They narrowed it down to 4 finalists, and then they just announced who the winner was. The first one was Donald Trump. Now, we knew it wasn't going to be Donald Trump because everyone's done with Donald Trump in the mainstream media. All these leftists at Time Magazine, whatever, they don't want to honor him at all. But Donald Trump had a big impact on the year 2020 and continues to have a huge impact on 2020 as we wrap it up. He was one of the finalists. Dr. Fauci was one of the finalists as well. Dr. Fauci, who, let's be honest, I mean, love him or hate him, the guy had a big impact, whether Donald Trump was listening to him early on, whether Donald Trump was saying he was wrong early on. He was on television every single day standing right next to Donald Trump. He was on television in those COVID briefings every day speaking and answering questions for 45 minutes. He was out there contradicting himself. He'd been on pretty much every television show. He was the one that said, we've got to flatten the curve. We've got to stay home, wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Dr. Fauci became an international superstar during this health crisis in 2020. Somebody else, it was the civil rights legends or civil rights advocates or whatever. They had George Floyd, basically, the BLM crowd, the people that, you know, were out there defunding the police and causing the riots and the mayhem, the ones that turned COVID-19 into a distant memory for a while they were marching down the streets and lighting fire to things and looting buildings. But then afterward, COVID-19 resurged and they kind of went back indoors. And then the final finalist was Joe Biden. Joe Biden, who, to this point, I can't name one thing that Joe Biden has done this year to benefit anybody. Joe Biden somehow, if you believe what the electoral votes right now state, Joe Biden won the election. If you believe the mainstream media, Joe Biden won the election, even though that's still being disputed in the courts, potentially even the Supreme Court later today or early next week. So Joe Biden, who has sat around in a bunker, sat in his basement, campaigned zero, this guy was up for Times Person of the Year. And wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? Beating out all those other people who actually did stuff, the Person of the Year on Time Magazine, Joe Biden. But not just Joe Biden. It's actually Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, which is weird because it says Person of the Year, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So aside from the grammatical errors, the fact that they would be honored with such a recognition after doing squatta in 2020 is really kind of bizarre. But Time Magazine, I guess, believes that they're one person. He's the body, she's the mind, since he doesn't have a mind. You know, he's the name, she's the upstart socialist. They couldn't get a socialist elected, so they got Joe Biden, who's the shell of the empty man with the name that people trust, and then they put her beside him. But according to Time Magazine, they aren't people. They aren't 2 individuals. They are one person. Person of the Year, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who have done, again, literally nothing.